Hello there and welcome to another edition of the program. I am Victor Matthias and this is Channels Beam. It took the Independent National Electoral Commission 3 days to conduct, collate and announce the results of the keenly contested presidential and National Assembly elections, and that brought a lot of anxiety, suspense and even drama. Candidate of the All Progressives Congress was announced winner and will be sworn in later in the year. But the elections did not take place without its fair share of controversies and drama. And that's what will be our focus on Channels Beam today. But first, we'll be taking a look at the trending topics in the past week. Apart from conducting an election adjudged to be credible, free and fair, Professor Attahiru Jega was widely commended by Nigerians on how he addressed an issue during the announcement of the presidential results. His name was also unofficially added to the dictionary. Expectedly, the elections was also on the minds of Nigerians and world tweets as they kept glued to their timelines, hunting for results from every corner of Nigeria. Well, there you go. Those were the trends in the past week. But we will be joining our online guests to find out what they feel about the exercise. But you can also be a part of the discussion using the hashtag General Elections.
It was unnecessarily bureaucratic. I think it's something that could have been done in a day, maximum 2 days, even a year. I really don't see any point in first of all, you have to queue to accredit yourself, and then you have to come back to vote. I think it can be done in one step, really. That's a lot of time. Some people queued or stayed on the queue for about 8 hours in total just to cast their vote. I think it's unnecessary. And again, you can see that we're still struggling with a lot of logistics. Some people couldn't keep the time. INEC staff didn't get to ballot to the polling unit on time. And then you can see that there was intentional sabotage, or people were intentionally trying to delay the whole process and trying to sabotage even the card readers in some parts of the country. So it's a step up from where we're coming from. If you look at the history of elections in Nigeria, it's a step up. It's a step up from there, and that's mostly down to the card readers. But there's still a lot of areas of improvement, and we can do better, and we should be doing better. We had to wait for 3 days after the elections to actually hear the president-elect declared by the INEC chairman, and unfortunately it fell on April Fool's Day. We just hope no one will come back tomorrow to say it didn't happen.
Carol made some very interesting points, and I totally agree with everything he said. For me, this election experience was one that was needlessly drawn out, but I need to commend Professor Attahiru Jega for being meticulous. He did his best to keep to the rules. We saw a man who understood the rules of elections as written in our constitution, as written in our electoral laws, and kept to them. He walked down to, forcing the returning officers from the states to read from the election result sheets, down to being patient enough to explain to everybody the, I think, 19 steps in the presidential election. So, as drawn out as it was, it's a fault of our constitution as is. It's a fault of the guidelines as is. And I agree with Carol that we can only get better from here.
I align with what they've said. What I just want to add is that I'm still hoping to see the figures, the percentile figures of this election. I want to know, are people getting more confident in the democratic process? I think that people are actually believing under this government that their votes will count, and that may have reflected in the willingness of the people to come out on Saturday and vote. I also think that people will now realize the importance of their vote going forward, and I think it will, the immediate effect will be the April 11 election coming. I think we will see more voters coming out to vote for their governors, and I think that's good for democracy because on a personal level, I think that the gubernatorial elections are more important or will be more important for the people of a particular state than the federal elections. So and that of the houses of assembly as well. So I think the confidence is good in the electoral process. I think in 2019 we are going to see more people come forward. We are going to see people. We are going to see a near perfect democracy where the voter is king. Where people know that if you don't perform after 4 years, you can be booted out. So as a leader, you are not just implementing your own agenda or doing what you want, but you are doing what the people really want. And then if you want to take office, you don't need to go and hire thugs. You don't need to try to compromise the officials. You don't need to try to compromise the system. You just need to campaign to the people. You need to to toast the people, as it were, as we say in Nigeria. So you need to woo them over to your side. So I think the voter is going to become king. It's good for our democracy. Of course, like Carol said, there are election irregularities. The underage voting issue is a problem that we'll need to look into going forward. We heard also of a governor in the southeast who tore result sheets. We've heard of people not accepting the results and then trying to subvert the process, and all sorts of irregularities that people have been alleging at the collating center. I think going forward towards subsequent elections, maybe not by April 11, but maybe for 2019, we need to look into those. But all in all, I think it is a good one. It is thumbs up for Professor Tahiru Jega, thumbs up for all the staff of INEC, thumbs up to President Goodluck Jonathan, and thumbs up to President-elect Muhammadu Buhari.
Generally, for this process, like the book I read most, a portion of it says, "And the light shines in darkness, and darkness could not comprehend it." But I think the situation in Nigeria becomes that the fact that there is light and that the light has shined in darkness does not mean we should entertain darkness, because right now the darkness is present. So we should look for every way to eliminate the darkness so that the intensity of our light can be so much reflected. And in general, I would say, on the overall, INEC has proven to be credible enough. But I think the little foxes are still, spoiling their vines, and if we do not tackle these issues, it could lead to a credibility issue in the long run. But for now, I think so far the will of the Nigerians have prevailed. We can say let's give INEC a pass mark. I think for now we should give INEC a pass mark. Most often says a dead fly makes the scent of an apothecary stinky. So we should look forward to remove the dead flies from our apothecary.
I think I'm so happy for Nigeria. I'm so happy for Africa. The democracy can only be strengthened and move on from now on. And like General Buhari said, that he believed in '91 when USSR fell that you can actually make a change without firing a shot. And though few shots were fired and people died, but really it wasn't by